Hi everyone, I'm Razia. Welcome to my channel. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be notified of my weekly uploads, and you can also check me out on Instagram and TikTok for more. When you're building a skincare routine from scratch and you're seeing everyone using all of these different serums, all of these different skincare steps, it can be really confusing to understand how to layer these products, especially when there's so many different actives involved. You've got morning routines, you've got evening routines, you've got different actives that apparently can't go together. It can just be really overwhelming, and it's a lot to figure out right from the get-go. So today I'm going to help you understand how you should approach layering your skincare products, and if there's any fact to all these claims that apparently you can't mix different ingredients together, and just how to go about setting up your skincare routine in general. Okay, so you have your basic skincare routine format that we're all familiar with by now, and that's cleansing, serums and treatments and all of that stuff, moisturizer, and then if it was a morning routine, you'd finish off with sunscreen. But I think where a lot of the confusion lies is in that in-between stage, that stage between cleansing and moisturizing, where all your serums and actives and toners and essences and all of that stuff falls. And that's where things can be really confusing. Now that we have this one ingredient serum trend that's been going on for a while, if you want to try a few different ingredients, you probably need a few different serums to make sure you tackle all of those needs. So that's really how you end up with a large number of serums that you want to use in your routine, and that's where you get this layering issue. So the way I like to approach it, and this is my favorite way to approach my skincare routine, is layering things from thinnest to thickest. This is a very general rule. It's not a harsh rule that you have to stick by. It's just one that I find makes it really easy. It simplifies the process, and it ensures that each layer is absorbed properly before I apply the next. And it's just a lot more comfortable to apply your products this way. So I think it doesn't matter so much what order you put these different ingredients, because honestly, your skin is going to absorb whatever you put on it. What matters for me personally is that it's comfortable to layer all of these different things on my skin. My skin is able to absorb it properly, and I'm not left with any pilling or anything like that on top of my skin. So what does that mean to layer your skincare from thinnest to thickest? So just based on the consistency of the product. You've got toners and essences that are usually quite a watery consistency, and straight after cleansing, these would be the best products to apply. Next, you have your water-based serums. These are also really easily absorbed by the skin as well. And then after that, you might have some emulsion or lotion type of serums that you want to apply, and these would be the thickest consistency of serum. Apply those, let everything absorb nice and easy, and then go in with your moisturizer, of course. If you're going in with a bunch of layers and you want to avoid pilling your skincare, check my last video where I go over some tips that might help you with that. But one that would really help, that I'll just mention quickly now, is waiting for each layer to dry down a little bit before going in with the next. And that way there's not too much buildup of product on the skin, and you don't have that annoying pilling that happens, because that's honestly the worst thing ever. So to summarize that, this is a really quick overview of the order you should be applying your skincare products. So firstly, you have cleansing, then after that you would have any wash-off treatments you might be using, masks, peels, that type of thing. Then we move on to toners and essences and the really watery type of consistency products. Then after that, we'll go in for our serums. After serums, more emulsion or lotion type of serums. And if I was using any oil-based serums, I would apply them now after the emulsion serums, and then I would top everything off with a moisturizer. And then of course, if you're using a face oil, just a general like rosehip or marula oil or whatever it is you like to use, you would apply this after your moisturizer. And that's a really basic overview of how you should approach ordering and layering your skincare products. And it's really not that complicated, right? It's quite simple. I think it can get a bit confusing when you start to think of all the different ingredients that you have in those serums you might be using, and which ones should be going first and last, and which ones you should be mixing together and all that type of stuff. So I'll quickly go over some of that for you now, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be less confused about all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of those serums you see people using, like hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, even alpha-arbutin, I would say, you can use these guys like morning, evening, you can use them with any other actives. They really cooperate really well with everything. So you don't need to worry too much about mixing these types of ingredients with other actives. So I think if you do want to be a little bit more cautious with your layering, you should be cautious as to how you're layering your actives. So salicylic acid, retinol, glycolic acid, vitamin C, these are the ingredients that you want to be careful you're not mixing with each other. You can be using more than one of these at the same time, but just not in the same routine. So you can have 2 nights a week that you've designated to using salicylic acid. You can have a couple other nights that you're using retinol. You can be using vitamin C in the morning, And that way you're using all of these different actives, but you're just not using them in the same routine. And that's how you can get the most out of your skincare routine. And honestly, it's not so much a fact that you absolutely can't use these ingredients together because they're gonna cancel each other out or anything like that. It's more just that if you do use too many of these at the same time, there's a high chance you're gonna cause some irritation to your skin, and no one wants to deal with irritated skin. It's really annoying, trust me. So if you have a salicylic acid product you want to use, you have a niacinamide, you have a hyaluronic acid, maybe you've got an alpha arbutin as well, you can use all of those in the same routine. There's no problem with that at all. But the way you would approach layering these different steps, these different ingredients, I go back to thinnest to thickest. At the moment, I'm using the Paula's Choice BHA liquid exfoliant, and it's a liquid. It basically has the same consistency as water. I use that straight after cleansing, and then after that, I'll go in with the rest of my serum. So the niacinamide and the alpha arbutin that I'm using, and then I'll finish off with moisturizer, and that's that. You can put anything on your face in whatever order you like. Your skin's gonna absorb it, so don't overthink it too much. That's my main takeaway here. If you do want to use quite a few different actives, splitting them between your morning and evening routines is a really great way to get around this, or just using them on alternating nights. So a good active that you see a lot of people recommending to use in the morning is vitamin C. Another good one that you might want to use in the morning is azelaic acid. Azelaic acid is quite a gentle active. It's so gentle that you can even use it morning and evening every single day, and it's totally fine. But if you do want to use other actives at night and you still want to use azelaic acid, use azelaic acid in the morning. And then you can save your night routine for the more strong stuff. So salicylic acid, glycolic acid, retinol, and all that kind of fun stuff. You don't want to use those on the same night. Please don't use salicylic acid and retinol on the same night. You really don't need to do that. Use them on alternating nights if you want to use both. At most, if you do want to layer actives, I think the most you could do is layer different exfoliants. Layering an AHA with a BHA might be okay if your skin can tolerate it and if you're very familiar with your skin's tolerance levels. Otherwise, it's not necessary. You don't need to be doing this. I will say there is one ingredient that you really shouldn't mix with anything, I would say, and that's benzoyl peroxide. If you do use benzoyl peroxide and retinol on the same night, for example, they literally cancel each other out. So you really want to make sure you're not combining benzoyl peroxide with retinol at all, whether your skin can tolerate it or not, because it's going to cancel out the retinol, make it less effective, and why would you want to do that? So don't use benzoyl peroxide with anything. If you want to use benzoyl peroxide, use it on its own, and that's it. Another ingredient combination that gets a lot of buzz is vitamin C and niacinamide. Can you mix these two together? Yeah, you can. You can layer these two together, and there's absolutely no problem with that at all. For a while, there was a myth going around that you can't use vitamin C and niacinamide in the same routine. It turns out that that myth was based on some really outdated evidence that has been refuted many times over by every dermatologist that I can find online. So there is no need to worry about using vitamin C and niacinamide in the same routine. No need to worry whatsoever. So I hope that answers any questions you might have had about how to layer your skincare routine. If I missed out on anything at all, please leave it in the comments below and I'll make sure to answer you. And that's all I've got for this one today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave me a like, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Don't go anywhere, check out my last video where I talk about how you can avoid pilling in your skincare routine. And I'll see you in the next one.